Well, how's your golf game?
Nice. It is what it is. But, you like to play well, but you just don't have enough time to do it. It's a great game. Golf's kind of a metaphor of life, and it's interesting because you hit a good shot and you feel pretty good about it, but if you don't hit a good shot the next time, it doesn't end up too well. And then you hit a bad shot, you got to be able to hit a good shot the next time. So it makes you focus on what you're doing right then and there, and it all has a significant consequence. So when you get as old as me, that's about all you can play, so we enjoy it.
Is it relaxing for you?
Absolutely, yeah, it's great.
What about competition-wise, Coach? Charles Barkley said on his NBA show last night that he's going to hit at least 3 birdies today. Can you top that?
I don't think so. And, Charles is a lot of fun. I love listening to him. He does a great job, and it's always good that he comes back here and supports, things that happen in our state. So we have a great amount of appreciation for him relative to that.
You talked about the draft last night, but just again, for some of those that were drafted later, like you said, it's their chance to take advantage of an opportunity, not so much focused on where you're taking, but what happens from here on out.
Well, and I think everybody needs to understand, recruiting, the draft, personnel evaluation, most inexact science probably there is in the world. All right, so that's why everybody needs to not worry so much about where they get picked, but what opportunity do I have now? All right, and specifically in like AJ's case, I think he has a wonderful opportunity. He's going to a good team. They have a good offensive line. They've got good receivers. They got a good runner. They got a good defense. They've been to the playoff a couple years in a row. And they got a quarterback situation that a lot of people view as something that's not stable. All right, so how can you have a better opportunity? Eddie Lacy was a great example last year. Everybody's upset because he didn't get drafted in the first round, but ends up being Rookie of the Year. He went to a good team, gave him a better chance to be successful, and he took advantage of it. So, you can understand that when things don't work out in the draft, people are emotional when it doesn't work out like they want it to. But I think they'll all come around and focus on the opportunity they have and be happy with it.
You're a big fan of the neutral site games. Have one this year. Any ones coming up in the future that you're looking to get a game with another team?
We're always looking, all right, but not anything I can share with you right now. I don't think we want to create speculation. I think we're playing Wisconsin and Dallas the next year, and we were supposed to play Penn State in 2016. They bailed out on us, so we're looking for an opponent to play somewhere in 16 right now.
Coach, how do you think the team and the fan base would handle an open-gate play?
A what?
How do you think the team and the fan base would handle an open-gate play?
Well, I just know how I would handle it. I would expect everybody to be very respectful of what is private for most people, and treat that person with dignity and respect them for being a good teammate and being a part of our team and doing the things that require them to be a good person on our team. And I can't speak for everybody, but that's what would be my expectation for the people that we control in our organization and on our team.
Nick, with Jacob coming in, how critical is it for him to, establish that relationship with guys and make that smooth transition?
Well, I think that, being a new player coming in, it's always, important for you to be able to develop relationships with the people that you're going to play with. You want to be able to respect them. You want them to respect you. But I also think, nobody can sort of ignore the fact that, we have a lot of competition at the quarterback position. Jacob's certainly a part of that competition, but, Blake Sims did a good job in the spring. We've kind of said before, we're a little disappointed in what he was a little disappointed in the way he played in the A-Day game. We didn't really do or feature what he could do. Cooper Bateman is still in the competition, and he did a pretty good job in the A-Day game for a young player. So there's a lot of competition at the position, and I think this is something that our team has to embrace and try to help each and every one of these guys play winning football for us at that position.
With the surgence of Auburn and some of those other teams in the West, you look at that SEC West. I mean, in the future, I know you don't like to prognosticate or look ahead, but man, is this the strongest that division's been in your?
Well, our conference as a whole was always really, really strong, and I think our division is probably as strong now as it's ever been. I mean, I think Ole Miss and Mississippi State are both going to have really good teams. I think Arkansas is going to be better. A&M is, probably a top 10 team. LSU is always a top 10 team. Auburn certainly is now. So, a lot of competition. But I think that's why the offseason is important, because I think that's when you sort of develop the psychological endurance to sustain the season, and the competitive edge that you got to have, the mental toughness that you got to have to persevere. So we've had a good offseason so far, and hopefully we'll continue to have a good summer.
One more, guys, and then we'll head out.
Nick, were you surprised to see the ACC stay at 8 conference games and then add the non-conference against one of the Big Five?
I didn't really even, I wasn't even aware. I wasn't totally, I didn't think our conference would be so easily, influenced to stay at the current way that we do it. I am supportive of it. I'm glad we're doing the 6-1-1 in our league, even though I did support playing 9 conference games and one more in the Big 5 conferences or whatever they're going to be called, so that we all play 10 good games. My major concern is for the fans. I think we should play all good games for the fans, because they're what create a lot of passion and interest for our game, and they do a lot of support for our universities and our teams. So if it was totally up to me, I'd say you got to play all 12 games in the top 5, of the 5 leagues, the Big 5. So if we did that, I think people would be less adverse to playing more conference games, because I think we have such a great conference. But I don't think anybody's going to be in favor of that until we change how you select bowl teams. I think you ought to do it based on the RPI and strength of schedule and all that for all bowl. This new committee is going to take the first 12 teams and put them in those 6, playoff bowl games, whatever they're called now. I know it's not the BCS, but they should do it for all. So if you win 5 games and you played a great schedule and you had a couple of significant wins, you can still go to a bowl game. But as long as you have to win 6 games to be in a bowl game, people are not going to be in favor of strength of schedule. And I think strength of schedule would be beneficial to the college game, however we get to it.
Would it be easier? Would it be easier for the committee if everybody played 9 games? If every one of the Big 5 conferences played 9?
Well,
would it be easier for the committee
I
to
think
make
if we
those
changed how people got in bowl games, everybody would be more willing to do those types of things. Maybe it's not 9, maybe it's 10. Maybe you play 10 games in the SEC and 2 games outside, all right, which would be easier from a scheduling standpoint, but it would be much, much better for the fans. And if we weren't all worried about winning 6 games, because there's a lot of teams in our conference that just look at playing another conference games as 7 losses for somebody. Well, those 7 losses would affect somebody from going to a bowl game. But I just like to get away from the fact that you lose 1 game and you're out. The Giants lost 6 games and won the Super Bowl. I don't know that that's ever going to be the case in college football, but if we all played more good teams, you could lose a game or 2 and still have a chance to get in the playoff. So, all right, thanks, guys.